Hello, I am John Donnelly. I am the writer of a series of public apologies, open brackets, in response to an unfortunate incident in the school lavatories, close brackets. I have for some time been fascinated by the phenomenon of the public apology, particularly the corporate apology. Organisations and businesses who often don't really have any actual ethical concern about something they're apologising for. They're just worried they might not be able to sell you as many things as they would do otherwise if you think they're bad people. And both those kind of apologies, but also celebrity apologies, apologies of people in the public eye for things they've done, and how Twitter means that there's an obligation to apologise for things you perceive to have done wrong very, very quickly. And that often means that you get those apologies a bit wrong. And then you end up apologising for the wording of the apology. And the apology becomes unsatisfying and creates another thing in itself, because it turns out you've misunderstood the thing you were apologising for. And it felt that you got this kind of really weird sort of febrile energy around those things as people tie themselves up in knots. So I was really interested in that. And also interested in how, from a very young age, we try and inculcate in children the language of contrition. How it's not enough just to be sorry, you have to sound sorry. I think you hear that quite a lot as a child, as a young person, that you have to look sorry and say sorry like you mean it. And my son had this experience at school, and a teacher wasn't satisfied with the apology he gave for saying something he shouldn't have to a friend of his who got a bit upset. And for me, this was just an example of you learn about the effect your words have on other people, and you say sorry and you understand that someone else didn't like something you did. But the teacher wanted him to do this performance of being sorry, and it felt like there was a through line between those two things. How from a very young age we are taught to create apologies based less on the idea of meaningful change within ourselves and meaningful sort of reparations for the things that we've done, and more on the idea of finding the right series of words to shut down the conversation, which is what often the purpose of an apology really seems to be online. What is the least amount of words that I can use to make this problem go away? And anything which seems fundamentally about closing down discourse rather than opening it up strikes me as not a good thing. In response to that, I wrote this play to deal with those ideas, and I wanted to write the play in a form that brought people together. So a form that relies upon the cast talking to each other and working out who's going to say what bit and what this all means. I wanted to create a form which allowed for a cast of 100, a cast of 20, a cast of 6, of any age or sort of gender or background. You can look in any way you like. That all of that can be incorporated in this form, so it was as malleable as possible. That seems to me to be a really good thing in the context of a play about shutting down conversations, to create a form which requires you to open them up. One of the things that achieves, I think, is that it creates a form which looks really kind of fun and playful and open, hopefully is, and will bring about a kind of a good experience for anyone wanting to perform it, hopefully for anyone wanting to watch it as well. However, one of the things I would sort of point out is that it can be deceptively tricky to actually do. Like, you can't just sort of give someone the lines and they learn them and they say them. There's a bit of thought that kind of goes into the process of this. A tip that I would give to anyone embarking on a production of this play is to think about what happens in between the scenes. There's an energy taken forward into every single scene in the play. What happens off stage that drives the energy of the following scene is a really important thing. Likewise, thinking about the status of the people on stage. Who are the people apologising? Do they actually want to be the people stood up making the apology? Is it their turn? Do they have to do it? In the last year or two, we've seen members of the government apologising for things they clearly are not in the least sorry for, and you get this succession of government ministers sent out one by one to apologise for things because this week it's their turn and someone else has clearly decided they don't want to be the person who apologises. Are people apologising because they see it as a career opportunity? Or are people genuinely sorry? That's, of course, a possibility. So these are the things that I think you can consider if you do the play. And these are also perhaps the things you might consider if you choose to watch the play.